Let's talk about Howard Stern, the man who redefined radio and became a cultural lightning rod. Stern wasn't just a voice on the airwaves. He was a force of nature, a provocateur who challenged the status quo and made millions tune in just to hear what he'd say next. His career made headlines not just for his outrageous stunts, but for his jaw-dropping bank account. Stern's ability to turn controversy into cash is legendary, and his financial success became as much a part of his story as his on-air antics. For decades, Stern was everywhere: radio, best-selling books, movies, and even television, pushing boundaries and breaking rules. He built an empire by being unapologetically himself, and his influence stretched far beyond the studio. Stern's interviews became must-listen events, and his brand of humor and honesty changed the way people thought about talk radio. In 2004, he shocked the world by announcing he was leaving terrestrial radio for the uncharted territory of Sirius satellite radio. It was a bold move that left fans and critics alike wondering if he could pull it off. The deal? A 5-year, $500 million contract, an unheard-of sum that sent shockwaves through the industry and changed the business of radio overnight. Suddenly, satellite radio was on the map, and Stern was its crown jewel. This wasn't just a paycheck. It was a declaration that Stern was the future of radio. He became a symbol of creative freedom, and his move inspired other big names to consider new platforms and bigger deals. Suddenly, he had creative freedom and a platform that let him say anything, but he was also tied to Sirius for years. The show became more personal, more experimental, and more unpredictable than ever before. The contract made him one of the highest-paid entertainers ever, but it also locked him in, golden handcuffs indeed. Stern had the world at his feet, but his future was now inextricably linked to Sirius. He's re-signed several times, keeping the money flowing, and each new deal only added to his legend. But now, in August 2025, his current deal is ending, and the industry is buzzing with speculation. For the first time in years, Stern's future is uncertain. Will he walk away at the top, or is there another reinvention on the horizon? How he used that money and what comes next is a story worth telling. Stern's fortune has funded a lifestyle of luxury, but it's also given him the power to shape his own destiny. The king of all media's next move could change everything again. Whether he chooses to retire, reinvent himself, or surprise us all, the world is waiting. Will he stay, go, or retire? The stakes have never been higher, and every option is on the table. Stern's legacy is secure, but his next chapter is unwritten. The story of Howard Stern is still being written, and the ending is anyone's guess. The world is watching to see what the king will do. Every headline, every rumor, every whisper only adds to the anticipation. And that $500 million? It was just the beginning. The next act in the Howard Stern saga promises to be just as unpredictable and just as fascinating. Stern's $500 million contract was a seismic event. Satellite radio was unproven, and Sirius needed a superstar. The stakes were incredibly high, and the industry was watching closely. Would this bold move pay off, or would it be a colossal failure? Sirius was betting big, and they needed someone who could draw in listeners by the millions. Stern was their gamble, and they bet the company on his ability to bring in subscribers. It was a high-risk, high-reward scenario. Stern was their gamble, and they bet the company on his ability to bring in subscribers. He left behind a massive free audience for a paid, smaller one. Critics predicted he'd fade away. Many thought it was a reckless move, but Stern had faith in his loyal fan base. He left behind a massive free audience for a paid, smaller one. Critics predicted he'd fade away. But Stern bet on his fans, and they followed. They were willing to pay for the uncensored, unfiltered content they loved. But Stern bet on his fans, and they followed. The move didn't just change his bank account, it changed his show. No more FCC fines or censorship. He was finally uncensored. This newfound freedom allowed him to explore topics and ideas that were previously off-limits. The move didn't just change his bank account, it changed his show. No more FCC fines or censorship. He was finally uncensored. The show became deeper, wilder, and more revealing. Stern was able to push boundaries like never before. No more FCC fines or censorship, he was finally uncensored. The show became deeper, wilder, and more revealing. Guests opened up, comedy bits pushed boundaries, and the show entered a new golden age. Stern's creativity flourished in this new environment. The show became deeper, wilder, and more revealing. Guests opened up, comedy bits pushed boundaries, and the show entered a new golden age. Millions subscribed, turning Sirius into a media powerhouse. Stern's deal legitimized satellite radio and proved that content could drive subscriptions. Guests opened up, comedy bits pushed boundaries, and the show entered a new golden age. Millions subscribed, turning Sirius into a media powerhouse. Stern's deal legitimized satellite radio and proved that content could drive subscriptions. The risk paid off. Stern's freedom became Sirius's fortune. Millions subscribed, turning Sirius into a media powerhouse. Stern's deal legitimized satellite radio and proved that content could drive subscriptions. The risk paid off. Stern's freedom became Sirius's fortune. The king of all media had changed the game, again. Stern's deal legitimized satellite radio and proved that content could drive subscriptions. The risk paid off. Stern's freedom became Sirius's fortune. The king of all media had changed the game again. Satellite radio was now a major player, thanks to one man. The risk paid off. Stern's freedom became Sirius's fortune. The king of all media had changed the game again. Satellite radio was now a major player, thanks to one man. Stern's move was more than a contract. It was a revolution. The king of all media had changed the game again. Satellite radio was now a major player, thanks to one man. Stern's move was more than a contract. It was a revolution. The industry would never be the same. Satellite radio was now a major player, thanks to one man. Stern's move was more than a contract. It was a revolution. The industry would never be the same. And it all started with a single audacious bet. Stern's move was more than a contract. It was a revolution. The industry would never be the same. And it all started with a single audacious bet. Stern's leap of faith transformed not just his career, but the entire landscape of radio. The industry would never be the same. And it all started with a single audacious bet. Stern's leap of faith transformed not just his career, but the entire landscape of radio. His success story is a testament to the power of taking risks and believing in your vision. And it all started with a single audacious bet. Stern's leap of faith transformed not just his career, but the entire landscape of radio. His success story is a testament to the power of taking risks and believing in your vision. The world of radio would never be the same again. For decades, Stern's New York studio was the show's beating heart. Live, chaotic, and electric. The energy in the room was palpable, with staff, guests, and Stern himself feeding off the city's pulse. Every morning, the studio buzzed with anticipation, and the unpredictability of live radio made every broadcast an event. It was a place where anything could happen, and often did. Then, in 2020, the pandemic hit, and everything changed overnight. Stern made the decision to move his show to his Hamptons basement, transforming his home into a high-tech broadcast center. What began as a necessary response to a global crisis quickly became a new way of life. What started as a temporary fix became permanent. He loved working from home. The comfort and privacy of his own space offered a sense of control and calm that the city never could. No more commutes, no more city stress, just luxury, comfort, and control. Stern could set his own pace, surrounded by the things he loved, and focus on the show without outside distractions. The show's dynamic changed. Interviews went virtual, staff worked remotely, and the in-person spark faded. The laughter and chaos of a crowded studio were replaced by the quiet hum of technology connecting people miles apart. Some fans missed the old energy, the spontaneous moments that only happened face-to-face. But Stern proved he could broadcast from anywhere, adapting his style and keeping the show alive in a new era. SiriusXM built him a palace, a state-of-the-art studio fit for a king, but he preferred the comfort and intimacy of his own home. This shift gave him leverage, but also raised questions about the value of his contract. If the show could be done from anywhere, what was the true worth of a traditional studio? Is a remote show worth the same as a studio one? Does the magic of radio depend on the place, or the person behind the mic? Stern's evolution from studio icon to remote broadcaster is a defining chapter in radio history, showing how even legends must adapt to survive. The king now rules from his own castle, broadcasting to millions from the comfort of his private domain. The future of his show and his contract hangs in the balance as the industry grapples with what radio means in a changed world. One thing is certain, the world of radio may never return to the way it was, and Stern's journey is at the center of that transformation. With $500 million, Stern built more than a radio legacy. He built a real estate empire. His first big buy, a $20 million oceanfront lot in the Hamptons, transformed into a custom mansion. Then came a $52 million Palm Beach estate, a statement of wealth among billionaires. He added a sprawling NYC apartment, combining units for a sky-high palace. Each property is a private kingdom, beach, city, or sun, designed for comfort and privacy. Stern's homes are more than investments, they're sanctuaries from the spotlight. His real estate journey mirrors his career, bold, ambitious, and always on his terms. The king of all media became the king of castles. His empire is the ultimate symbol of his success. Inside Stern's homes, luxury meets privacy. The Hamptons mansion boasts 16,000 square feet, a bowling alley, home theater, and custom closets. The grounds acres of oceanfront, a resort-style pool, and private beach access. No paparazzi in sight. Palm Beach, 12 bedrooms, a massive pool, tennis court, and lush gardens. His winter oasis. Each home is wired for work and play, with broadcast studios and space for his passions. Stern and his wife Beth fill these estates with rescue cats, art, and photography. Life here is a blend of work, relaxation, and creativity. These aren't just status symbols, they're personal sanctuaries. Stern built his dream life, one mansion at a time. Stern's reign faces new challenges as his contract nears its end. His audience has shrunk from 20 million to as low as 125,000 daily listeners. SiriusXM is tightening budgets. Can they justify $100 million a year for Stern? They own his archives, so old shows can keep fans subscribed without new content. Stern's political shift has polarized his audience, alienating some longtime fans. Declining ratings, high costs, and controversy have made negotiations tense. The golden handcuffs may finally come off. The king's future at SiriusXM is in serious doubt. Off-air, Stern is a family man, married to Beth, devoted to animal rescue, and father to 3 daughters. Their homes are sanctuaries for hundreds of foster cats, a shared passion. Stern's private life is quiet: photography, painting, chess, and evenings with Beth. He's opened up about his family, showing a softer side far from his shock jock days. His estates are creative havens, perfect for his artistic pursuits. Stern's fortune has bought him peace, privacy, and time for what matters most. The king's real legacy may be the life he's built away from the mic. It's a world of quiet contentment, made possible by his empire. As fall 2025 nears, Stern stands at a crossroads. Insiders say another massive SiriusXM deal is unlikely. The era of $500 million contracts is ending. He could sign a short-term deal, move to another platform, or retire. Stern worries about his staff, but he's financially set for life. Retirement is a real option. $650 million net worth, legendary status, and a vast real estate portfolio. Even if he stops, his archives will keep his voice alive on SiriusXM. The king's legacy is secure. His work will reach new generations. His catalog is a final, brilliant financial move. Whether he stays or goes, Stern's impact is permanent. The end of an era, but not the end of the story. What's next for Stern and his empire? If he retires, his homes become personal sanctuaries. No more daily show, just freedom. His studios could host new projects or simply serve as creative retreats. These properties are legacy assets, likely to be passed down or set records if sold. Stern's life is now perfectly intertwined with his castles. Whether he broadcasts or relaxes, he's achieved a level of comfort few can imagine. The king's future and his castles are entirely in his hands.